Buddhawajana institution. Learning, practicing, spreading only the words of the Tathagata. The Buddha's Last Days. Sariputta, there are certain recluses and Brahmins whose doctrine and view is this: as long as this good man is still young, a black-haired young man endowed with the blessing of youth in the prime of life, so long is he perfect in his lucid wisdom. But when this good man is old, aged, burdened with years, advanced in life, and come to the last stage, being 80, 90, or 100 years old, then the lucidity of his wisdom is lost. But it should not be regarded so. I am now old, aged, burdened with years, advanced in life, and come to the last stage of my years, have turned 80. Now suppose that I had 4 disciples with 100 years lifespan, perfect in mindfulness, retentiveness, memory, and lucidity of wisdom. Just as a skilled archer, trained, practiced, and tested, could easily shoot a light arrow across the shadow of a palm tree, suppose that they were even to that extent perfect in mindfulness, retentiveness, memory, and lucidity of wisdom. Suppose that they continuously asked me about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, and that I answered them when asked, and that they remembered each answer of mine, and never asked a subsidiary question, or paused except to eat, drink, consume food, taste, urinate, defecate, and rest in order to remove sleepiness and tiredness. Still, the Tathagata's exposition of the Dhamma, his explanations of factors of the Dhamma, and his replies to questions would not yet come to an end. But meanwhile, those 4 disciples of mine, with their 100 years lifespan, would have died at the end of those 100 years. Sariputta, even if you have to carry me about on a bed, still there will be no change in the lucidity of the Tathagata's wisdom. Rightly speaking, were it to be said of anyone, a being not subject to delusion has appeared in the world for the welfare and happiness of many. Out of compassion for the world, for the good, welfare, and happiness of gods and humans, it is of me indeed that, rightly speaking, this should be said. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One. Having approached and paid homage, while massaging the Blessed One's limbs, he said to him, "It is wonderful, Venerable Sir. It is amazing, Venerable Sir. The Blessed One's complexion is no longer pure and bright. His limbs are all flaccid and wrinkled. His body is stooped, and some alteration is seen in his faculties, in the eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the body faculty. So it is, Ananda. In youth one is subject to aging. In health one is subject to illness. While alive one is subject to death. The complexion is no longer pure and bright. The limbs are all flaccid and wrinkled. The body is stooped, and some alteration is seen in the faculties, in the eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the body faculty." This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said this: "Fie on you, wretched aging, aging which makes beauty fade. So much has the charming puppet been crushed beneath advancing age. One who might live 100 years also has death as destruction. Death spares none along the way, but comes crushing everything. And now again, Ananda, the Tathagata has today at Chapala's shrine consciously and deliberately rejected the rest of his allotted term of life. And when he had thus spoken, the Venerable Ananda addressed the Exalted One and said, "Vouchsafe, Lord, to remain during the eon, live on through the Kalpa, O Exalted One, for the good and the happiness of the great multitudes, out of pity for the world, for the good and the gain and the weal of gods and men." "Enough now, Ananda. Beseech not the Tathagata," was the reply. "The time for making such requests is past." And again, the second time and the third time, the Venerable Ananda besought the Exalted One in the same words, and he received from the Exalted One the same reply. In that when a suggestion so evident and a hint so clear were thus given to thee by the Tathagata, thou wast yet incapable of comprehending them. If thou shouldst then have so besought the Tathagata might have rejected the appeal even to the second time, but the third time he would have granted it. Thine, therefore, O Ananda, is the fault, thine is the offense. But now, Ananda, have I not formally declared to you that it is in the very nature of all things, near and dear unto us, that we must divide ourselves from them, leave them, sever ourselves from them? How, then, Ananda, can this be possible, whereas anything, whatever born, brought into being, and organized, contains within itself the inherent necessity of dissolution? How then can this be possible, that such a being should not be dissolved? No such condition can exist. All component things must grow old. Work out your salvation with diligence. The final extinction of the Tathagata will take place before long. At the end of 3 months from this time, the Tathagata will die. My age is now full ripe. My life draws to its close. I leave you. I depart, relying on myself alone. Be earnest then, O brethren, holy, full of thought. Be steadfast in resolve. Keep watch over your own hearts. Who wearies not, but holds fast to this truth and law, shall cross the sea of life, shall make an end of grief. The Tathagata's last words. Behold now, brethren, I exhort you, saying, decay is inherent in all component things. Work out your salvation with diligence. The induced. Revealing the hidden bhikkhus, an exertion should be made to understand. This is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, I have taught you the destination and the path leading to the destination. Whatever should be done, bhikkhus, by a compassionate teacher, out of compassion for his disciples, desiring their welfare, that I have done for you. These are the feet of trees, bhikkhus. These are empty huts. Meditate, bhikkhus. Do not be negligent, lest you regret it later. This is our instruction to you. Words of Dharma and discipline. Words to be dwelled with as one's own island, as one's own refuge. Ananda, it may be that you'll think, the teacher's instruction has ceased. Now we have no teacher. It should not be seen like this, Ananda, for what I have taught and explained to you as Dhamma and discipline will, at my passing, be your teacher. Those bhikkhus, Ananda, either now or after I am gone, who dwell with themselves as their own island, with themselves as their own refuge, with no other refuge, who dwell with the Dhamma as their island, with the Dhamma as their refuge, with no other refuge. It is these bhikkhus, Ananda, who will be for me topmost of those keen on the training. Ananda, when there are two men living, he under whom there occurs a breach of this good practice, he is the last man among them. Therefore, Ananda, I say to you, continue this good practice instituted by me, and do not be the last man.